Oh, you do? Man, dude. Oh, yeah? A beauty? What year is it? So modern one, huh? Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I've been in love with this thing since I got it. I'm so happy you finally got one. Huh? That's a gold plate.
Genius expertise.
What's that?
Greatest experience I had.
All right.
Because he was such a gentleman.
Man, I've been working my whole life.
Such a good teacher of me. And I play this music now.
No, it's not old. It's like a 2022 or something.
Feelings and expressions.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, there once was a day, and a night was too. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, it's coming out there. Just a little bit, yeah. Hey, yeah. What? I can hear you. I can hear me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Test, 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 test. This is a test. Yeah, feels good. Yeah, feels good. Yes, 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 I can. I feel good, comfortable. Does it sound all right to you? I get let loose a little bit. Yeah. Barefoot on the seawall, walking in the rain just to clear my head. Feeling red. You're gonna see it. Take your time, hurry up. Let's start the show. Here we go. I don't know, I do know that love is real. Love is real. It's hard to stay in love with everyone all the time, I know. Yes, I know. Love is real.
Test, test, test. Test, test, test.
You want to just launch, let's launch a PowerPoint.
Do we have something with sound?
Sound?
Yeah.
Oh, sound?
I just need to find something with sound.
Oh, that's all. Music.
Check the audio because that may blow out.
There. Relaxing Celtic music.
Shocking news. Apparently, everyone rented a convertible with 6 downtown in Houston and just left the city. This is the worst commercial at all.
That's the way it's right. No, it's not that. We're taking the last. Can you check the audio in on YouTube? I mean, it should drop.
But he laughed at the old man's
I could
story
probably
as
disable
the
noise
wind
getting
began to gust.
Anyway,
The
so
Jaguar
meanwhile,
sped from the parking lot, kicking up the gravel and the dust. It was just about midnight in the drizzling rain, high above the white stone bridge. On a hairpin curve, well, it never even swerved in his final breath.
See, I
Strong
wonder if
winds still ridge.
I wonder if it is that unnatural.
The Devil's Ridge in late
That's like
November.
basically like cutting out all the stuff. Like,
Let him steal away his
I'm worried it's gonna be bad.
On a moonlit night, you best remember. That's when the devil takes control. The Devil's Ridge in late November. Let him steal away his soul. On a moonlit night, you best remember. That's when the devil takes control. That's when the devil takes control. That's when the devil takes control.
just see if focus is working? Then I can go. Yes. I can do it. Okay. Yeah. Which one is it?
You wrap my wrongs in scarlet bows. You make me dance like twinkle toes. You tell my secrets. You tease my hair. I hide my
This is
heart.
it.
'Cause you don't fight fair. I hear you laughing, and it makes me cry. If that's a bad thing, don't tell me why. Not close to even, not even square.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. We will begin in a minute. We're having a late start today, but it's just a Sunday, so all good. Still too low. Gotta do it this way, maybe that's better. Please take your seats. All right. All right, let's begin. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Houston Oasis, Houston's very own secular community celebrating the human experience. Our website is houstonoasis.org, and some of the things that we do is we celebrate our core values. They're listed here, and of course, there's one on my shirt as well. One of my favorite ones is human hands solve human problems, and meaning comes from making a difference. Today, we have a great program. As you can see, we have the open mic main talk session. We also have a community moment right now with some of our board, and we're going to start this day with Robert Kuhn in the band Galveston, and he's played with us many times before. And as you can probably guess, the name Galveston references his home and the Barrier Islands collective musical scene. Let's go. Robert. Galveston.
Morning, y'all. Thanks for bringing me to town today. It's always a pleasure to be here. I'm always kind of cruising up here wondering what I'm gonna play. And this is the most recent song I've written. I probably wrote it a month and a half ago or something. It's kind of been a work in progress. You know, they've been saying all kinds of things everywhere. You've been hearing all kinds of things everywhere you look, and it leaves a lot of room for questioning. And I guess that's what everybody's doing here today, looking for some community, finding something. And well, The song is called Love is Real. It's the only thing that I could make any sense about sometimes. Barefoot on the seawall, walking in the rain just to clear my head, feeling dead. You're in the kitchen with a little baby, they're safe inside. And I cried, love is real. Love is real. Love is real. Love is real. Whatever you can find, whatever you can feel, love is real. And it's never ending. Stop pretending. They tell you that love is real. I tell you, well, here's the deal. They tell you that love is blind. They tell you that all the time. They tell you that less is more, except for the grocery store. And they say it's a simulation, that the train has left the station. Well, I'm searching for the door, and I find you waiting there. And I can tell that you care, and I swear that it's a miracle. Oh yeah, a little miracle. Love is real. Love is real. All right, thanks, guys. Yeah. And this is a song called Sassafras, second to newest. Sassafras and I bypass the traffic. This thing is set on automatic. I got a head full of the sound of static. I said, is that the radio station? Or my imagination? Well, I walk the world just waiting for butterflies. One lands on the tip of my tongue, and I know now that I'm dealing with spirits. I guess I'll see you on the other side. I'm gonna see you on the other side. She said, while we're waiting here, might as well have some fun. After all, we're just a constellation in the modern world, with the modern pain and the modern love to meet one again. Miles in a matter of moments, inside. Love the feel of the accelerator. I got all the time in the world and more, and I'm higher than a highway sign. They said, Mama wanted used to mess with the magic, but I did it cause I wanted to anyway. Now I'm stranded here all alone in the desert, but my baby's a waterfall. I said, my girl is a waterfall. She says, while we're waiting here, oh, we might as well have some fun. After all, we're just Thank you very much.
Galveston, everybody. All right, before we start our community moment, I want to point out that if you want to do the open mic session today, please go to the back and register yourself on the paper over there so that we can make sure that we can call you up in the right order, as well as please, the content part, we're still a 501c3 and no political stuff here. So let's keep it in line with our core values, and please participate. And okay, so first we want to bring up Jennifer and Tim here to talk about the state of Oasis finances, as well as what we're planning for the future.
Yeah, we got to bring this down to Jennifer and Tim size.
Hey now.
So I'm Jennifer. This is Tim. We're both on the board. I wanted to give you a little update. So y'all know that we are a nonprofit, and as a nonprofit, we depend on donations from our folks that are members who participate. And also, as in with most nonprofits, think about like PBS or whatever, some folks are able to give more than others, which is great. That really helps us out. Sometimes those folks have a reversal of fortune and are not able to give as much, or at all, maybe. And that has happened with us. And we wouldn't make note of it, except that this is going to affect our budget pretty significantly. About a quarter of our budget will be affected by a loss of revenue. And we just don't have a whole lot of fat in our operations here. We are very lean. We have most of our expenses are fixed monthly. We have a few expenses like insurance, marketing stuff, whatever that come around, once or twice a year, and we just need to be able to cover all of that. And as my bank lawyer husband says, we can't write bad checks. So if we have a loss in revenue, we need to either try to increase revenue again somehow, or we would start needing to cut expenses. And again, we just don't have a whole lot of room to cut. So Tim has got these slides up, and maybe he can explain a little bit more about what's going on with the expenses.
So I broke these out into weekly and monthly, so you kind of see per week what we, on average, might be spending. Now, the meals, obviously, we only bring in food for potluck. Like today, I may order something, right? But the large majority of our expenses are the room rental for here and the childcare room, which we almost always, we have to have that in case someone brings their kids. And then the speaker's fee, that's an imagined number, right? It just depends on what they request, but it means it puts a cap on what we might be doing for that week if it doesn't fit into the budget, right? And then musicians, for a solo person, that's the fee that we're paying. We may have a duo or a trio come in. It's multiple of that. It's times 2 times 3 for that. But this is just the average, $840 per week, right? And if you just break that out into the month, you're looking at 4 times that, approximately. That's a 3160 just on putting on the Sunday gathering. So I want to understand that's just non-administrative stuff. For 2 days sitting in this room, that's what it's going to cost over a month. And when you take that and look at what our actual revenue has been, I don't know if you can see that line there. It's hovering, expenses are hovering a little bit below that because we keep the administrative costs as lean as possible. We kind of smooth those out throughout the year as much as possible, but if anything ever happens, you can see how that red can jump. You know, in June it went up. Why? Just stuff hits our bank account. The revenue did not go up. So if you smooth out the expenses, but even after doing that, your revenue is not high and above that, then you could have an issue of, having to downsize somewhere so that you are not draining from cash assets that should not be getting pulled into this. We have funds that, like the building fund and we have the building fund, we have a disaster recovery fund. Those cannot be pulled from, right? Those are for a program or for a specific purpose. And so this is our plea, not plea, but this is to explain to situations so you understand that's currently our 100% revenue, and we're going to be losing a quarter. So that green line is going to drop down another 1,000, let's say. But the expenses are not going to drop down significantly, unless we just stop meeting a Sunday or something weird like that. No, we will not cut musicians, says the musician.
So, can you help, is the question. The more people who give, the less dependent we are on big donors. And if there's ever a downturn like that, then we don't end up being hit quite so hard. So if you have not considered doing a recurring donation or have kind of been on the fence, now would be a great time for you to get off the fence on that and make a recurring donation. Or if you just have if you can give any kind of money at this time, that would help. But just know that going forward, we need to make up this loss that we've had of, about $1,000 a month. And so the more of us who can contribute to help alleviate that, the more helpful it will be, and we can continue to meet. And this is important for all of us. So thank you.
Hold on. Don't clap yet. Yeah. I'll make whatever changes as a treasurer that I can. So for if I can eliminate, donation fees, I'll move to a different platform, or if they get covered in a different way, that's great. Things like if you're doing your donations through credit cards, there's always a credit card fee, right? So if you switch it to ACH, like through your bank, through the portal, there's no fees on that. Or if you you send it through Zelle or any other platform that doesn't go through your credit card, that's going to cut fees. That's just a small percentage, though, right? Fundamentally, if you've been donating to Oasis for 5-10 years or something, and you've kept it the same amount, you have not caught up with inflation, essentially, or the number of people who are coming. So, yeah. Do what you can, and we appreciate everybody here. Yes, we have a question with the man in the hat. Expenses are variable, so certain things hit us at different times of the month. Insurance, usually a big chunk, all of a sudden, all at once. I normalized that one slide a little bit, but there's some things that are just they're not actually annual. They're just going to show up out of nowhere, and we got to pay them. If the expense hits us, we can't be like, I'll pay you in 2 months, 3 months. No, you gotta pay that stuff. Barun was first. Yes. Yes. Sorry for anybody who's colorblind. Yes. Correct. I saw Aaron's hand up. For that one, that was just when a lot of things hit. So I think what that one was. It wasn't rent because I tend to smooth those out. Even if we pay a lot in 1 month, it doesn't matter. But that may have been the insurance, and then a couple of subscription fees that we pay for social media and stuff like that have to get paid there. I'll go through and I'll look through if there's anything that's super crazy. I'll come and find you and let you know. Susan. Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, to put the address on there? Yeah, we can update that. Easy change. It's on the website, but yeah, you can. Yep. We can get a pay by mail. I'll take checks at this point. Yeah, just drop a check in that too. And never get lost unless wind comes through here. And we'll do another update, kind of explain everything. I can get more numbers if anybody asks questions or anything like that. I'll explain more if you'd like to know. But that's what the board meeting's for too. Come and we talk about all that boring stuff every month. All right? Fun. Yes, fun. It's fun for us. All right, let's gonna move on to where should I go? No, you're good.
All right, before we go to the open mic, let's take a break and meet everyone for coffee and build some community. And we'll be back for the open mic session. Please register in the back there and contact either Will or, sorry, maybe not Will this time. He's going to stand in for now. Tim and Jennifer will be taking the paper in the back, and please schedule yourself, and then we'll be right back in 5 to 10 minutes.
What's up, y'all? Cool. Happy Sunday. It's always nice to be up here in the Montrose area, making new friends. I'll tell y'all a little bit since it is open mic day today. Tonight, I feel like saying. Well, I got the mic first, so I'm going to take a little openness and let y'all know a little bit about myself. My name is Robert Kuhn, like I said, come from Galveston. I've been up here jamming for many years. I feel like I've been coming. Pete's been a good friend of mine, and it always keeps me in the loop. Before that, there was a TC, that's right, yeah, TC was up here, and I remember somehow I got connected. But really nice stuff, but this is a nonprofit organization. I also work in the nonprofit world in Galveston. I am the executive director of a nonprofit organization, believe it or not, called La Izquierda, Surf and Music. And we host an annual festival every year. It's a longboard surf competition and music festival. Started on the 91st Street Fishing Pier with a bunch of homies that are both surfers and musicians and everything, and putting a party together, and it was successful and grew into a community organizing movement, I would call it. We also host a free concert series on Thursday nights in Galveston in the summertime in June and July. This is our final one for the season. Coming up this Thursday, it's with a band called Jump Rope that's from right here in Houston. They're great. I don't know if you ever have checked them out, but they'll be putting on a free event with a local band in Galveston called the Sons of Nephilim. And it's at a community park on the seawall. It was built back in the 30s, and there's things have grown up around it, but the stage still remains. But it's a good time, y'all. Come on out. All kinds of people, families and kids all running around, and all kinds of music. Last week we had Tanya Nolan. I don't know if you know Tanya Nolan, but she was up there. But after that, we have the Galveston Sandcastle Festival. That's coming up in September 13th and 14th, and that's with a group of Houstonians that have been coming down to Galveston and making sand sculptures for over 30 years. The AIA architects. I don't know if you know the architects. Y'all, it seemed like y'all might know architects. And they're building people. But anyway, it's a cool organization. We do a lot of fun things. And this song is another fun one. And I had some good luck last year. And since y'all are from Houston, you probably know Bun B. He's got a burger shop right around the corner. He sold out the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo every year. Well, he covered this song, him and Paul Wall, the People's Champ, another Houston hip-hop artist, and a dude named Rich O'Toole. But anyway, it's a cool version. Roll to G-Town. I got my own version of it that they inspired it from. It'll be released later on this year on an independent album from La Izquierda Records called Ocean Cabaret. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town, where the honey is sweet and the girls are mean now, where the competition keeps well hidden. The apples on the tree, but they're all forbidden. One more little taste and I'm gone. Well, hello, my name is Robert and I'm pleased to meet you. And I can do the robot like R2-D2. All the little birds down on Winnie Street, flying south just to catch the heat. And one more little taste and I'm gone. High loaded, jump up on the stage and exploded. High loaded. Took everything I had and she sold it. Well, we was born up nickel and diamond the swag. And if you need some more, we'll fill up the bag. The moral of of the story is they out to get you. And if they're stepping up, then my sister, I with you. One more little taste, and I'm gone. High and loaded, high and loaded. Jump up on the stage and explode it. High and loaded, high and loaded. Took everything I had and she sold it. G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. All right, everybody, come on now. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. I'm gonna take my money and roll to G-Town. Good job, y'all. That's
Thank you, Robert. All right. I'm clearly too. Okay, that's better. All right, let's get started with Julie Grob. 3 short, Grob. Okay, sorry. Yes, please.
Good morning. Okay, I'm going to read 3 poems. They're all pretty short, and they're all pretty old. I haven't written anything for about 20 years, so. Okay, so this one requires a little explanation. About 20 years ago, I took a class at Imprint. Are you all familiar with this organization that supports creative writing in Houston? They do workshops. So I was in this poetry workshop, and another woman in the class, who was a little quirky, she was talking about how she had read a lot of literary journals, and she hated how they all had patio poems. And we said, well, what's a patio poem? And she said, it's a poem where you're like in your backyard with a chipped cup of coffee, and you see something in nature and have like an epiphany. And so we all took that as a challenge. And this is my patio poem. On the patio of the weekend place. I'm sitting at the rusty table, drinking my morning coffee from a chipped white mug, watching the neighbor's cat slip in and out of the bushes that gird the yard, when out of nowhere a blue jay descends, coming in low at the cat's back, dive bombing again and again at the ruffled fur, setting the cat dashing, a flit of black ribbon disappearing into the hedge. And I'm thinking about my own bad behavior and how it landed me here. A parade of gin and tonics, a man's brown hand at my elbow, the sound of voices spilling into the hotel room from the street below. And days later, talking with my husband, the detached horror of knowing you shouldn't say a thing and saying it anyway. I sip my coffee, savoring the bite. I stare down into the bottom of my nearly empty cup at the rings of stain lines rising up the sides, It meant nothing. I take a final sip, surveying the yard. No cat, no bird. About to admit something to myself. It's on the tip of my tongue. So I thought, thank you. I thought things in nature aren't always happy, are they? Okay, and I have two more, but they're pretty short. And this is also from about 20 years ago. When I was a hurricane, I circled back around, picking up pieces of myself. Vinyl records, books I used to love, youthful indiscretions. Most dangerous was the dirty side of my storm, that right front quadrant, fierce with wind and water, primed for destruction. Eyes closed, I carried you too for a while, sweeping you up like a car or shed, dropping you miles from where we started. For it's in the nature of hurricanes to drop everything, sweeping counterclockwise while surging forward, violent, mindless, and rushing relentlessly for land. Okay, so the last one is about 35 years old. I had forgotten all about it, but I saw it and I said, I have to read this for everyone at Oasis. Does anyone remember the Butera's Deli on Bissonnette? So in my mid-20s, I worked there at the deli, and this is based on that. Deli. What is Elaine thinking of? God? As she slices the meat and it falls, white and ragged, to land in heaped sheets on the wax paper. Her hands are deft, fervent, working the chunk of meat, the electric blade, the knob that widens and narrows the jaws of the slicer. Elaine prays. She studies theology. She punches in every morning and sells prosciutto, Canadian bacon. Since she knows where she is going, she might as well be here, calmly smiling, wrapping the cheeses, arranging the rows of stacked plastic cups and lids so we all can find them. For many of us, there is uncertainty in life. Dark rooms, cold comfort, the warm skin of lovers, the solid heft and weight of these blocks of meat as we cut them. But for her, this place is nothing. A dream, a place of shifting shapes, the gleaming slicer, a life that she lives in anticipation of heaven, head bent over, so tender at her task. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. That was great. I love the hurricane one. All right, Andy is going to come up for a 4-minute essay.
Okay. Yeah, this is just an essay that I wrote and I thought I'd share with you. I recently performed an experiment quite unwittingly. Heating some milk while visiting France, I brought it to a boil, though only for a second or two. The result wasn't hot milk for my coffee. Instead, I found curds, the milk solids used to make cheese, and whey, a semi-clear liquid that consists mostly of water. The whey also contains most of the milk's lactose, which is why people with lactose intolerance can frequently have no trouble consuming cheese. For those of us who live in the United States, this separation of the milk comes as a bit of a surprise. In the US, bringing milk to a boil yields boiling milk. And the answer all boils down to the way the milk is pasteurized. While pasteurization involves the heating of food, two important variables are how hot and how long. In France, milk is typically heated to 300 degrees for about 3 seconds. And in the US, milk is heated to roughly half that temperature, but about 5 times longer. And while we don't often think about it, heating brings about a wealth of molecular changes when applied to any food. The result is that French milk can and is stored in unrefrigerated boxes on grocery store shelves for 3 to 6 months. And as we know, it also turns into curds and whey when it's boiled. When properly refrigerated, US milk has a shelf life of only 7 to 10 days. Of course, the process by which milk is pasteurized also changes its flavor, and the lower temperature US process brings about less change. The French are willing to accept this trade-off of flavor versus practicality, except when they're not. Roger and I were just talking about this. Take cheese. In the US, virtually all milk-derived products must be pasteurized milk as a matter of law. Not so in France. When it comes to making cheese, pasteurized milk is not a legal requirement. Most of the cheese found in grocery stores is in fact pasteurized, but unpasteurized cheese is widely available and sought after at the many different fromagerie shops dedicated solely to selling cheese. It's all in the name of flavor, so it's understandable why the French make this particular exception. This is, after all, a country whose love affair with cheese is like any great love affair. Consuming, complex, surprising, sometimes difficult, always unforgettable. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Next up, Paige is going to bring up a poem.
Well, I'll have to tell a little background, too. It's family background. 51 years ago, I was in the middle of a divorce, moving out of a rather grand home into a little hippie hovel. And I thought, oh, good, I get to decorate the way I want to decorate. And I walked in a paint store that had some little prints for sale all framed. So I thought, well, I'm going to buy that, even though I've never heard of the man who wrote the poem. The man who wrote the poem was Edgar Albert Guest. Has anybody heard of him? Nope. He was born in England, and when he was 10, his family moved him to the United States, and most of his career was with the Detroit Free Press, where he moved from a beginning career as a copy boy up to being one of the editors of a little column with what was called the People's Poems. And I thought, I want this poem in the entry to my home. And I want my kids to absorb this poem. And I think they did. They're in their 60s now. And my oldest son still doesn't care what anybody looks like. And my younger son is a very generous guy. And I'm very proud of both of them. I want to tell you a story about my oldest son before I read the poem. From the time he was about 3 years old, he always said, Mommy, why does anybody care what anybody else looks like? And he still doesn't care what anybody else looks like, and I'm very proud of him for that. But I was also very proud when he graduated from a boarding school as valedictorian and won 4 of the 5 scholarship programs. And after the graduation, the headmistress came up, put her arm around him, gave him a big smile, and turned to me and said, I want you to know that your son found so many ways to follow the dress code and still look scruffy that we had to change the dress code for him. And she gave him a big smile like she's very proud. So anyway, here's the poem. This is the truth which you shall find. Good flourishes in all mankind. And soon or late, some evil man disgraces every sect and clan. Be not deceived by form or creed. Some bad appears in every breed. But Gentile Jew, nor brown nor white, by birth alone are wholly right. My son, despise not race or clan. Pass judgment only on the man. Make friends or enemies by deeds, never by boundaries or creeds. So I think my kids absorbed this, and I'm really glad that I have it still at the entry to my home. Thank you.
Next up, Barun is coming up to discuss multiculturalism. Okay, I'm here.
I've been debating for many years whether or not I should do this, and I could fall flat on my face, but I wanted to give this a try. I need you, Abhishek. All right. Is Tim here? No? No?
He's out there.
All right. Anybody else from a South Asian background? You? Yeah. You're from India, or? You want to? All right, come on up. Are you really from India? What? Oh, well, this is specifically South Asia. Sorry. I'm not trying to be discriminatory or anything. All right, sorry. All right. There's always been a lot of conventional wisdom about the benefits of multiculturalism. But I wanted to point out that if certain issues or certain things aren't taken into account, how should I put this? It can lead to very conflicts, not just cultural conflicts. And I wanted to demonstrate this with Abhishek or anybody else from South Asia. Now, as you can tell, this is unrehearsed. And I think it would work better if it's unrehearsed and more spontaneous. Abhishek, what doesn't exist in an Indian family that begins with the letter P?
Privacy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Private.
Sorry, privacy?
Exactly. Now, so this extends to, let me see, when did your parents stop opening your mail, snail mail?
I never got an email, I guess, but sure, probably when I moved out. Yeah.
All right. Now, this is a good point. Now, this is the way most Indian households work. It's just a cultural thing. Now, one thing that's become ubiquitous or somewhat of a stereotype is the Indian software engineer, okay? They've become the people who have manufactured or do the plumbing for the internet, software companies, internet companies, websites. And what's the biggest concern about the websites, Facebook, Instagram, any of these companies, how they handle information?
Same thing, privacy.
So my point is that when you're raised in a household without privacy, when you go into the real world and you start dealing with information, other people's information, and setting up a whole system or network, then privacy, which most people take for granted, but you don't, goes by the wayside. And this is one of the reasons why, in my opinion, a lot of the internet companies have had issues with privacy. Google, Facebook, things like that. It's my own personal cultural observation. Okay.
All right. That's an interesting. I hope that's not like butterflies across the ocean kind of thing. All right. Next up, Bob is going to talk about marital relations. Is that right? Do you want it in your hand?
I'll put it in here because I'm going to read. So,
Is that good?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's good. So this is a little different. I was going to read some of my poetry because that was mentioned, but I decided instead to do this. It's something that I guess part of the reason I'm doing it because it was front of mind because I actually shared it with another Oasian a few days ago by coincidence, and so I was thinking about it. I thought I'll do this instead of a poem. It's actually a letter, an email that I sent to my 2 children a few months ago. And it has some personal stuff in it, but I think there's nothing that's really too personal. And I should say before that it wasn't anything in particular that prompted me to send this email. It was just consolidation of my life experiences that I wanted to pass on to my children to try and make their lives better. So here's the email I sent. They're Anita and Alex. I've been thinking for a while about passing on to you my wisdom, in quotes, on this subject, and have decided to do this in writing rather than a conversation, partly because I tend to forget stuff when I'm talking, and partly because I didn't want either of you to get into a reactionary spat with me, which would distract you from the message. You may or may not be receptive to this content, but you should at least read it and consider it, since it includes hindsight experience from my mistakes and the benefit of decades more adult life than either of you have had, including being engaged to someone I subsequently broke up with, which incidentally they didn't know about. Although I'm sending this to the 2 of you, the advice is intended for your partners as well, so please share it. It will only work if both are on the same page. I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to give either of you specific advice on your particular relationships, neither in this email nor later, for 2 reasons. The first is that no one outside a relationship really understands it because they're not privy to all the personal conversations. Anita, who had lived with me her whole life, at one point wrote that she considered me a sidekick dad, presumably because she saw her mother wearing the pants and disciplining you both. But in reality, your mother almost always consulted with me and often took advice from me regarding the discipline, but it was all in private. And in fact, I typically took, after discussion, the major decisions in the marriage. Therefore, if I tried to give you detailed advice on your individual relationships, it would likely be from a position of misinformation and not helpful to either your relationship or to mine with you. The second reason is that each relationship is different, and although there may be aspects of someone else's relationship that would not be acceptable to me, it might be perfectly acceptable to that couple, something they had discussed and compromised on. We all have different priorities and interests in life. The general advice I want to pass on to you is to always work at open, honest conversation. The things you don't want to talk about are the things that you really need to talk about. It's not something that I've read, but in my view, relationships have 3 stages. The first is after you meet, and there is attraction, things each sees in the other, things each sees and likes in the other, and you spend time exploring and deciding if this has the potential to be long-term. This typically lasts through approximately the introduction to your parents. The next stage is where you happily settle into a relationship and are enjoying it. But during this stage, no one wants to rock the boat by discussing areas of residual conflict. This period is of indeterminate length and can extend into marriage. It may transition into the 3rd stage, or it may not. The 3rd stage is where both are truly committed to making the relationship work, not just being married, and trust each other to discuss, quotes, anything, knowing that it can be worked out. Such a relationship is very resilient and is much less stressful. If the relationship subsequently fails, it may be because there were fundamental incompatibilities that surfaced that were just too large, but it may be also because the relationship didn't transition to this third phase, and so there was no resolution mechanism for the underlying problems. Problems arise mainly from differences in expectation, which in turn arise from past experience, both general culture and family life when young. In my own marriage, cultural differences were large, but rarely a problem, because I embraced them and became more Mexican since I liked the culture. In areas where I did not adjust enough, your mother made the adjustment and accepted the incomplete change. We were quite compatible in that area, in the sense that we were both prepared to grow out of our own culture. However, your mother came from a broken home and grew up without the benefit of knowing what a normal home life is. So, as is normal, although I didn't know this at the time, she tried to make her home life perfect in order for it to be, she hoped, successful. However, she grew up with 4 sisters, an alcoholic father, and a quiet mother. And I grew up with 2 brothers, a calm dad, and a neurotic dominant mother. So our experiences were about polar opposites. This was good in that sometimes we could help each other with a different perspective. But in the areas where we didn't talk enough, there was remaining tension. Unless they're extremely lucky, all couples have baggage from both cultural and personal experience, and it's always a mistake to sweep differences under the carpet. Although your mother and I never did it, I think it's a good idea to have a somewhat regular time set aside to bring up what's on each other's minds. Just to put things on the table in a quiet way, not necessarily to resolve them there and then. Actual resolution may be a slow process of months or even years. To state the obvious, I'm sending you this because I want you both to have happy, successful relationships. I'll not stick my nose in any further, but you both know I'm here if you need me. Dad. By the way, my consultation rates are quite reasonable.
Thanks, Bob. That was good. Next up, Eric talking about a safety tip.
Yeah, it's actually a water safety tip. So it's that time of year where you hear these stories about people getting caught in currents, like rip tides, rip currents. Many of you will know this already, but if you haven't, and it applies to you, great. If it doesn't apply to you, tell it to your friends and family members so they know. So as the water comes to a shoreline, you get a return current, and it's basically a river that carries you out to sea. And you hear these stories of people being swept far out to sea and being in serious trouble. The trick to dealing with these is swim perpendicular to the current. You'll eventually make your way out of it, it will drop you, and you can either make your way to shore, or at least you'll be a lot closer to a shore rescue. And that applies also, and we've heard all these stories in Kerrville, if you're being swept down a fast-moving body of water, swim to the side, you'll eventually make your way to the shore. Now, you know, in a floodwater situation, flash flood, that's a whole nother matter. It's a lot of debris that could prevent you from successfully reaching the shore or get pulled way under. But the trick is, if you're out, and so for Robert Kuhn's surf buddies, they get pulled way out, go to the side. Just swim perpendicular, you'll eventually get dropped and you can make your way back in. So have a safe summer.
All right, do we have anybody else wanting to come up?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I hate to go highbrow, but I sense the energy in the room. I think you're ready. This is a poem. The poet I guess wants to remain anonymous, but here's the poem. A fly and a flea and a flew were trapped, so what could they do? Said the fly, let us flee. No, let's fly, said the flea. So they fled through a flaw in the flue.
That's a lot of flies for summer. All right. I guess we can wrap up the program now. As I call Robert up for one last song, I want to remind you guys again, we have the QR code for donations as well as setting up recurring donations in the back. We also have the hat in the back as well. I do want to point out that the coming Saturday we have the food bank event, and you can see that on our website as well. There's a link here for August 2nd. From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. we have the food bank event. It's great fun. If you've talked to anybody who knows who's been there before, they're incredibly organized setup, and we always have a great time there, helping everybody, helping our neighbors, and in fact in the larger Houston area and Southeast Texas area. So please, if you can come in, you can go into the link there and sign up on the food bank website, and that'll remind you when to come in. And it's on Port Wall Street, which is I-10 and close to 610 on the east side. All right, I'll see you there. All right, go ahead, Robert. One last song. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Robert.
All right, yeah, it's true. I heard what he was like about rip currents. I mean, there was one time a few summers ago, and I was out surfing with my brother at the flagship pier, the pleasure pier, and there were two fishermen that were out fishing, and they, I guess, stepped off the last sandbar, and something caught them, and they were getting taken out to sea, and they were hollering and screaming and flopping around, these two big fishermen. And you know, we paddled over there and picked them up and got them on the boards and carried them into the shore. And you know, they didn't drop their fishing poles. For real. And then the same week, at the same spot, it was just me this time. But I was out there paddling around, surfing, and two children got sucked out. One young girl, maybe 13, and must have been her younger brother that was about maybe 8, and they were getting swept out there way past the end of the pier, and hollering and screaming and everything like that. And paddled out there and got them, and said thank you. And a few days later, in the Daily News, the Galveston Daily newspaper, you know the Daily newspaper? I used to write for the Daily News. It's the oldest newspaper in Texas, right down there at the end of 45. And the fishermen had wrote a letter to the editor saying, hey, we don't know who it was, but we were drowning, and these two surfer brothers came and picked us up and helped us out. So if you ever read this, thank you very much. We're like, oh, that was nice. You know? This song, I don't know why I picked this song. I got so many songs, you know what I mean? But this one just came to my head to do. It was picked up, had a deal going with it from Law and Order, the show. And then they found there was a sample in the recorded mix. That's when you take somebody else's song and chop it up and screw it up and make it sound kind of cool and put it in your own song. Well, that was a deal breaker, and they dropped it. But it's still a nice song. Oh yeah, good poems, y'all. Walk through the cities, walk through the towns, run all the lights, get your feet on the ground. Walk through every sign that you see. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk through the desert, walk through the rain, walk through the valleys, walk out on your pain. Follow the river till you reach in the sea. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk on, honey child. Walk on through the wilderness. Walk 1,000,000 miles. Go till you're tired. Get off your feet, then take a rest. Listen to your heart pounding in your chest. Walk on, my friend. You are free. Walk through the heavens, walk through the hells, drink from the spring and head to the well. Walk through riches and poverties. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk through the cities, walk through the towns, run all the lights, get your feet on the ground. Walk through every sign that you see. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Walk on, my friend, you are free. Thanks, y'all.
All right.
Books and records over there. We've got some books and records over there. Did the mic just turn on and get extra hot just now? But yeah, we have some books and records and T-shirts, if y'all are into that kind of stuff, all original thought and stuff. So check it out. Thanks a lot for the Oasis being y'all's people and doing your thing and keeping me included for many years now. Keep up the good work, y'all.
Thanks for coming in, Robert. Galveston, everybody. All right. Thanks for everything this Sunday, and thanks for listening online as well as in person. Please come back next week, and we'll be here. We're gonna go to the bring your own lunch thing. So if you want to bring in something, or we have some food as well here. We're gonna need to rearrange the chairs. So we're gonna keep the audio set up so that everyone we have some the audio team has some things to do, but we can get set up for the tables. Thank you.